Hey, today we're talking about the advancements and innovations in the diagnosis and staging of lung cancer.
According to the American Lung Association, about every 2 minutes, someone in the United States is diagnosed with lung cancer. Every day, lung cancer takes the lives of more than 357 of our friends, neighbors, and loved ones. Now, there is hope as more Americans than ever are surviving lung cancer. While the disease remains the leading cause of cancer deaths among both women and men, over the past 5 years, the survival rate has increased by 22% nationally to 26.6%.
Additionally, it has increased at a faster pace among communities of color, such that it's no longer significantly lower compared to, let's say, Caucasian Americans.
That's right. Lots to get to. So joining us is Dr. Eric Flanaugh, Director of GCC Advanced Diagnostic and Interventional Pulmonary Service, Director of Lung Nodule Clinic at Grady Memorial in Atlanta.
Thank you so much for being here, but you've got some good news, right?
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we've made a lot of advances in lung cancer, especially as it comes with screening and the diagnosis and staging. We know if we can diagnose earlier and get them staged into treatment earlier, the rates of survival increase like you were mentioning.
Doctor, we were able to connect with your dad in Dallas, Texas. Eugene, thanks so much for joining us. So can you share your journey with us? Tell us what happened.
Okay. What happened was I joined the military in '62. During the early parts of the Vietnam War, back in '65, I was in Southeast Asia. While I was in Southeast Asia, I got sprayed with Agent Orange. The cancer didn't show up then, but it took over a period of time, along with other ailments that Agent Orange caused. And so what transpired was every year I had a CT scan, and that CT scan always came back negative. But my primary care over at VA, he kept noticing one spot. And so he set me up for a PET scan. And it's a very small amount. And it showed up that that one spot was starting to have some activity. I got scared. So I called Eric. They did the biopsy. And when they did the biopsy, it came back with squamous cell carcinoma.
You know, it's really important to have these standard tests, but these standard tests don't always give all the answers, correct?
Correct. So a lot of the standard tests, even some of the screening tests, are a CAT scan or a PET scan. But we started to realize that those are only pictures of the chest. So you can see a spot, what we call a nodule or lymph nodes, and you're really sure, especially if there's other underlying diseases, as my father's case, if that's related to the other lung disease or if it's actually related to the cancer. What you actually have to have is tissue to tell that if it's cancer or if it's infection or if it's scar tissue. Those are the important things. Now these newer tests allow us to diagnose by localizing where this lesion or this cancer, this nodule may be, and also to stage the lymph nodes. Lymph node staging is extremely important because it tells you whether or not it's spread or it started to spread. And the only way you can tell whether it's truly there, the pictures don't help, you need some of the tissue.
So tell me more about this technology. What is it called and how does it work?
It's called endobronchial ultrasound. And basically you have a small ultrasound probe which can actually tell you exactly when you're close to the spot that you're trying to biopsy, whether it's in the far reaches of the lung or it's in the lymph nodes in the center of the chest. And once we can localize exactly that position, then we can get our biopsies and know that we're getting the target we're aiming for.
Doctor, I was reading here that Olympus, and I believe that's the company that first started microscopes and cameras, so they're behind this technology?
Yes, with respect to this technology, they have been on the forefront of it for about the past 20 years. They initially came out with probes that helped us find these lesions in the lung, and now we can accurately diagnose in the center of the chest and get the lymph node staging.
Well, let's take a little break. When we come back, let's find out how EBUS is really helping patients now and helping you guys with what you have to do.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our discussion as we're learning why EBUS-TBNA is recognized as the gold standard in diagnosis and staging of lung cancer.
And doctor, this was used on your dad, correct?
Yes, it was. In 2019, he was found to have, right in his right upper part of his lung, adenocarcinoma of the lung. They used technology to navigate to the spot and confirm that he had cancer in the upper part of his right lung, and then to stage him through the lymph nodes in his chest.
Let's talk a little bit more about your dad. I mean, what happened after his diagnosis?
So after the diagnosis, the time clock starts ticking. And this is where I really had to step in and just kind of push it along. We know that if we wait from the time that you're diagnosed to getting the treatment, more than about 30 or 40 days, then you really need to start staging again, because these cancers can spread and double in size very quickly.
Doctor, I was reading here that Olympus is partnering with the American Lung Association, which I think is fantastic. It would be safe to say to help patients really become aware of the importance of, finding the diagnosis, staging, and treating, and even becoming their own advocate, right?
Yes.
For themselves. You were obviously helpful because you're a doctor and you love your father, but one really has to own it too. Won't you agree?
Absolutely. And I think the best way we can do, that we can help people achieve this, is to educate. The other thing that I really think is important, is I encourage the patients to do, is to take somebody with you when you get that diagnosis. And they need to stay focused, because that time clock is ticking.
Right.
We need to keep moving.
How instrumental was it to have your son there, helping you by your side?
Eric is my doctor. I'm glad that he was there in order to help calm me down. I have a soulmate, which is his mom. We've been married 59 years. We celebrated that 20th of June. We have 3 sons, morning, noon, and night. But there's a lot of things a significant other cannot comfort you on, but a doctor can if you let them know. And that's exactly what I did. I let him know. And he guided me there. It's sort of like holding my hand on my first day of school. And I'm proud and thankful.
How are you doing today?
I'm good so far. Come the 20th of January, it'll be 5 years. I still have my port in for the infusions, but I'm glad. And I thank God for Eric and technology.
He sounds great.
We sent my daughters down there, and they spoiled them and sent them back.
That's what grandparents are all for.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for being with us today, sir. Look, we're going to continue talking to your son. You got a great son here, by the way.
I thank you for your time, and I thank you for allowing me my time. Thank you.
And doctor, this technology obviously is very helpful. It was very helpful for your dad, but ultimately patients need to consult with your doctor, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Consult with your doctor. And then I would say find a place, if you have a spot that needs to be diagnosed or staged, find a place that has this technology available. Because I know in one procedure, I can walk in, I can go to the peripheral spot that looks ugly, and we biopsy and we know it's cancer, and in that same procedure, I can use the other EBUS scope and I can stage them. So now I have diagnosis and staging done in one procedure.
Get it all in one shot right there.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Of course, if you want any information, you can go to medical.olympusamerica.com or medical.olympusamerica.com/EBUS solution.
And of course, you can always go to our website, thebouncingAct.com. We'll be back right after this.